we've got a calling question from Sherman on the line. Hey, Sherman, what's your question tonight?
Hey, Sherman.
What happens if the individual at fault doesn't have enough insurance to cover the expense of all the injuries and everything?
Wow, right on.
Teed you right up.
Right on cue. Thank you for that, by the way. No, what you do, if the other side doesn't have enough insurance, then you fortunately or hopefully have uninsured motorist coverage. Let me explain what that is. Uninsured motorist coverage is a policy that you buy along with your liability coverage and your collision coverage or whatever kind of coverage you get. You're going to be given the option to have uninsured motorist coverage. Unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't get it because they're told by the agent, if you've got health insurance, you'll be okay. No, you're not. You need uninsured motorist coverage, and you need the most that you possibly can. And I had a case recently come in. The other side has $25,000. The car wreck her injuries are probably worth about $100,000. It's a bad accident. And lo and behold, she had $100,000 of liability on 2 cars, but she had 0 uninsured motors. She waived them. And so now the only amount to collect is the other side for $25,000. So you can't rely on another person to protect you. You have to do it yourself through uninsured motorist coverage. Do not waive it no matter what. No matter if the car's only worth $500, carry as much uninsured motorist coverage as you possibly can, because it's for you and your family for injuries, not the car.
Yeah, and you specifically have to waive it, because sometimes people are like, oh, I don't have that,
Yep.
I didn't sign up for that, and then you do a little bit of research, you dig in, and you find out, no, you have it, because you specifically have to waive it.
I got a text about an hour ago from my client that found their policy, and sure enough, they have rejected their insurance on another case. They rejected their uninsured motorist coverage, and now there's little to nothing that can be done. And so.
And then if an insurance agent is recommending that you waive your coverage for that policy, what would you tell a person?
Go get a different agent.
Yeah.
And because the problem is, and we're getting off a little bit of a tangent, but the problem is there's about a third, about 30, 33 to 35 to maybe even 40% of all drivers that you see at a red light, they do not have insurance. They don't have any liability insurance, none. And it's hard to believe people say, well, you have to have insurance. It's by law. Well, people break the law all the time. And especially when it comes to this, they get their insurance for a month, they go down, they get their driver's license, their tag and all that, and then they don't ever pay the second month's bill. And so their insurance has lapsed, and you don't know, you don't have the luxury of knowing who's going to hit you in an automobile accident. So you have to absolutely 100% protect yourself and have as much of that as you can.
And could you explain too, and this comes up from time to time, we talk about this, but you can actually stack the policy. So if you have multiple vehicles, you want to make sure that for even if it's an old clunker, you don't really drive much, you still want to have that for that vehicle as well, because you can stack those policies and add those amounts up. I've
got an old clunker of a car that I have 0 liability. I have liability. I have 0 comprehensive. If I wreck the car or the truck, the damage is going to, the truck's probably only worth $1,000. I use it just to, haul limbs and stuff like that. But I do have liability, and I have uninsured motorist coverage, even though the car probably is valued at $1,000. But I keep that insurance on there in case something bad happens. And so, because you can stack, you can add all your policies together, even though you weren't in all your vehicles at the same time. You can utilize all your coverage on different vehicles, up to three cars on one policy. You can stack that. So if you have $25,000 in coverage, well, all of a sudden now, if you have 3 cars, you have $75,000 in coverage. And so it's a wonderful thing. Just get as much uninsured motorists on all your cars that you can.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you're in a bad accident with someone who has no insurance and they're in the hospital, you could see where you could use that.
I use it every day in all my cases, and so it's very important to have it.